We are back, or as you can see, I am back, as Tanner is on his way back from a work golf outing right now. He should be hopefully on the show here within the next 10 minutes or so. Not 100% sure when he's going to be joining me, so bear with me here real quick. But glad to be here tonight on this very hot June day. Hope every father had a fantastic Father's Day yesterday with some grilled meats, some nice sun, and a good time with family. This episode is brought to you by The Damn Landing. Whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, hand-bread tenderloin, seafood, craft beer, or a handcrafted cocktail, The Damn Landing is the place to be. The Damn Landing is a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou. Focus on freshness and quality. You can wash down their delicious food with one of their 16 beers on tap, including a constant rotation of today's best microbrews and domestic flavors, or a handcrafted cocktail made using fresh ingredients. Taking the fantastic views of Lake Manitou in their beer garden or outdoor bar area, whether it be boats or wheels, The Damn Landing is the place to be, located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester. Tanner has the Birdie Bogey for me tonight, so we will wait till he is on this show to give it to me. But first, the NBA draft is on Thursday night. The NBA Finals just ended on, I believe it was Friday night. I can honestly say I did not watch much of the NBA Finals this year. Golden State found a way to get it done once again. I think that is now their fourth championship here in the last 7 years or something like that. So, I mean, we all kind of have Warriors fatigue at this point. I was hoping the Celtics would give them a little bit of a fight, but they didn't there, especially in Game 6. Celtics had every opportunity to win that series, and they just did not do that. Jason Tatum really struggled in the final game. Final few games, actually, to the point where I've seen people on Twitter saying he's gone from a max contract guy to a guy who might not even get $100 billion, which is just absurd because Jason Tatum is one of the best players in the NBA. But yeah, in Game 6, he only shot 6 of 18 from the floor, scored 13 points. He really struggled. Jaylen Brown was fantastic for them, though, but really the whole team struggled. Only scored 90 points in that game. But yeah, you look at Jason Tatum. He's 23 years old. I actually just turned 24 in March, but averaged 27 points a game, 8 rebounds, over 4 assists, plays good defense. Seems like the kind of guy you can build your team around, and just because he had a few bad games in the NBA Finals, is kind of dumb to write him off. But you know what? The Twitter trolls are going to Twitter troll, so it is what it is at this point. But the Golden State Warriors once again find a way to win the NBA championship. Steph Curry was fantastic in Game 6 at 6'3", scored 34 points. Andrew Wiggins was kind of the unsung hero in this, really in this playoff run. I mean, a lot of people were kind of writing him off as well, playing with some bad teams in Minnesota. And he really didn't turn into the superstar everyone thought he would be. But here he is on a championship team, scoring 17 points a game on the season. He was fantastic in the playoffs, averaged over 18 points a game in the finals, shot 44% from the floor, and played fantastic defense on Jason Tatum. And he's only 27. He's number 1 overall pick. People were kind of crowning him right away as this. I remember even hearing like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant comps when he was coming out of high school. Played his 1 year at Kansas. And he was really good at Kansas, obviously. And then gets number 1 overall pick. You know, he kind of overhyped guys. But he was the 2014, 2015 Rookie of the Year. It just didn't work out well for him in Minnesota, which you can say that about a lot of players here, really since the Kevin Garnett days back in the early 2000s. Got a fresh start in Golden State. He was traded for D'Angelo Russell. Back in February of 2020, D'Angelo Russell was part of that trade. And it's worked out real well for Golden State as they have won their 4th championship in the past 7 or 8 years. So kudos to them. One of my least favorite players in sports history is Draymond Green, and I have not liked watching him win this many championships. And, Celtics fans hate Draymond Green. A lot of NBA fans hate Draymond Green. But me and Tanner can say we have hated Draymond Green longer than about anyone. Ever since he was a freshman at Michigan State, we could not stand him. And he's getting some Hall of Fame buzz. This guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. Draymond's going to be a Hall of Famer. 8.7 points per game in his career. 6.9 rebounds per game in his career. 5.4 assists per game in his career. Good defensive guy. He is a 7-time all-defensive team member, and so I'll give him props to that. He has won a Defensive Player of the Year, 4-time NBA champ. He's a 4-time All-Star, which is just ridiculous. He is not an all-star caliber player. If he went to any other situation than going into Golden State, which were just about ready to start their run, he might not even be in the NBA anymore at this point. And he was obviously really good. Michigan State, very hated. Still very hated. And he's made $106 million in his career as well. So he's had a really good career. And of course, the Big Ten Network's going to shove him down our throat, as they should. One of their own has won a bunch of championships, and he's been this really good player for a great team. But I'm sick of Draymond Green, sick of Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry is a really good guy, but somebody's got to step up. And I know they haven't won in a few years, but it just felt like they're back. And I think they're going to have this run where they're going to win multiple championships again over the next 3 or 4 years. Jordan Poole has ascended into almost superstardom for him out of Michigan, averaged over 18 points a game this year, only 23 years old, first-round pick back in 2019. And we saw glimpses of this when he was at Michigan. He had a long buzzer beater in the NCAA tournament against Houston back in, I believe that was 2019. And he's turned into this really good player, averaging over 18 points a game, as I said. He's kind of become instant offense off the bench. Only played 15 minutes in Game 6, but they didn't really need him. But yeah, he's going to be their next guy to kind of take over, take the reins from, say, a Klay Thompson. Super athletic, good shooter. So they have some really young guys on top of the veterans like Draymond and Steph and Klay Thompson that they're going to be really good for a long time again. It's kind of I kind of hate to see it. Need some new blood in there again, like the Raptors winning a few years ago. But glad the NBA finals are over. That means we can switch to the NBA draft, and the NBA offseason as a whole is fantastic. You see deals being made right away, bunch of huge trades. You'll see some max contracts, all of that. One rumor I read today here is the Chicago Bulls are expected, like it's become the expectation around the NBA for the Chicago Bulls to land Rudy Gobert from the Utah Jazz, which that would be absolutely huge for them. He'd be an upgrade over Nikola Vucevic. He would provide rebounding and defense where they really struggled down low defensively. Vucevic is a solid NBA big guy. He's just not your big guy you want to throw the ball down to, which Gobert's really not either. Gobert's more of an athletic rebounder, defensive type. Gobert has been fantastic in his career defensively. And you add him to a Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and a couple of those other guys, Alex Caruso. He'd be a very good fit for them because they could be the missing piece. I mean, he averaged over 14 rebounds a game this year, shot 71% from the floor. He's averaged over 2 blocks a game in his career. He is a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's only 29 years old as well. He's about to turn 30 here in 6 days. 6-time All-Defensive Team, 3-time All-Star. He'd just be absolutely huge. He's led the NBA in field goal percentage 3 of the last 4 years. You're not going to get a ton of offense from him other than dunks, putbacks, all of that. But the one place he is fantastic at is defensively and rebound. I mean, you look at Nikola Vucevic, 17.6 points per game, much more of an offensive guy. He really struggled shooting the ball, especially early in the year. Only shot 31% from the floor, or 31% from 3, 47% from the floor. Not much of a defensive threat at all. So if they were to land Rudy Gobert, I think I think that could propel them into the top 4 or 5 of the East. But moving on to the NBA draft, which any sort of draft is always fun to watch. I mean, the NFL draft's one of Tanner and I's favorites. The NBA,
man.
Tanner, there is Tanner. 10 minutes. You know what? When the show started, I said, hopefully Tanner will be here within 10 minutes. And sure enough,
I had no idea you were even on the air yet. I text you the link. Appreciate you hopping on, taking things over by yourself. So
I have pretty much
the J-Man.
I have pretty much just talked about the NBA finals so far, and I was just getting into the NBA draft this Thursday. So
all right. Well,
yeah.
I apologize to everybody. I'm exhausted.
Okay.
Played in the golf outing over in Leesburg, Indiana today at Tippecanoe Lake Country Club. Great course, by the way. But we were flying through, and our last, I would say, 5 to 6 holes took, no joke, close to 2 hours.
Did you keep hitting it in the water or something?
No, it wasn't us. It was the group in front of us, the group in front of them. It created a log jam across the whole tournament. So, but
it's
here
all
we are.
Good.
Here we are.
All good. But you know what? The J-Man's got it.
Yes, that's why you're the J-Man. You're a legend.
That's right.
Hey, I do want to say I called Warriors in 6.
You did. Yeah, you called Warriors in 6. I think it was just wishful thinking, get a 7th game from the Celtics, because I know I'm sick of the Warriors. You're sick of the Warriors, which, I mean, neither of us really like the Celtics either.
I know.
But
lose, but
yeah. And
I over.
Talked about earlier how much we've hated Draymond Green for about 12 years now. Actually more than that, about 14 years since he entered college. So covered all that. Let's see what else here. Oh, I was just getting into the NBA draft. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking at Zach Harper of the Athletics mock draft right now. He thinks, and this is based on everything he's hearing so far, and he put this out today, and of course, it can change within the next 3 days or so, but he has Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga going number 1 overall to the Orlando Magic.
That's what I thought it was going to be all year long.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I don't know. I think it'll get interesting. Pick 4 on.
Yeah. It sounds like it's going to be a pick between Holmgren and Jabari Smith of Auburn, which he has Jabari Smith going 2nd to Oklahoma City. 2 big guys who can shoot it, athletic. Then he has the Rockets taking Paolo Banchero out of Duke, which, I mean, the Rockets have been trash, but they have a lot of young talent there, and he'd probably fit right in. They probably wouldn't be good next year, but he has the first Big Ten guy taken, the Sacramento Kings selecting Keegan Murray.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And he even writes, this is where the draft gets very tricky. I think Jaden Ivey is one of the best options in the draft, so having him go here at 4 seems logical. It could work, but the front office, he thinks is leaning towards a wing forward defensive big man.
As a Purdue fan and a Jaden Ivey fan, I hope he doesn't go Sacramento.
Yeah. Yeah. He has Benedict Mathurin from Arizona, who absolutely lit Illinois up this year, going to the Pistons at 5.
Man, I think Ivy would be a great fit in Detroit.
I do too. He has Shaden Harp from Kentucky going to the Pacers at 6.
If Ivy was available at 6 and the Pacers didn't take him,
yeah,
oh boy.
I can't imagine they wouldn't.
Even if it's just to sell some tickets. I mean,
right. I mean, he's from where did he go to high school? He's from South Bend, right?
He went to he ended up at La Lemire, but Mishawaka Marion, I think.
Was it Marion?
I think so. Don't quote me on that.
He has a G League guy, Dyson Daniels, going 7 to the Blazers.
All right.
Where's Ivy at on this thing? Yeah, I've never heard of Dyson Daniels.
I know the Knicks. The Knicks are really interested in Ivy, but they'd have to trade up a ways and give up a lot.
He has Akbaji from Kansas going 8th to the Pelicans, a 22-year-old player going in the top 10. That'd be interesting. That doesn't happen too often anymore.
No.
And then he has Ivy going 9th to the Spurs.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they have a pretty good point guard there in DeJounte Murray. But I mean, you had an Ivy who has the makings of a Ja Morant athletically anyway. I'm not sure he can play point guard like Ja can.
No,
But Ivy's a much improved shooter, going back from his freshman year for sure.
It's true.
He he needs to work on defense, definitely.
And his mid-range game, he seemed to lose confidence in it. I mean, against Illinois and Mackey, he couldn't. He took over from that mid-range, but after that game, or a couple games after that, going forward through that season, it seemed like he just lost confidence in it. He was short on everything, and he could get that whenever he wanted, and he just chose not to.
Regardless of who Brad Underwood put on Ivy was scoring.
He was
Trent Frazier was one of the best on-ball defenders in the country, and he couldn't stop him. Which, I mean, Ivy's significantly bigger, but still, he's done a pretty good job shutting down big players, and he just couldn't stop Ivy that night, I remember.
Yep.
But yeah, Ivy, stupid athleticism, just stupid.
Quick first step.
And if you want to be coached by a head coach, it's going to be Pop. You're going to learn a lot from Greg Popovich.
I feel bad for whatever Spurs coach takes over after he's done.
Yeah,
that's going to be some big shoes to fill.
It wouldn't surprise me if his time's coming to an end here soon. I mean, they haven't been very good the past few years. Ever since the last of their big three retired and Kawhi went to Toronto.
It's true.
He's got to be close to 70 if he's not already 70. Yeah, that'd be like losing Red Auerbach or Phil Jackson or something. So that'd be, and he's been there a long time too. I don't remember the Spurs without him being the head coach.
Yeah, Pop is 73, and he's been with the Spurs since 96.
Yeah, we're 4 years old.
Yep.
Zach Harper has the Wizards taking AJ Griffin at 10. The younger brother of one of Purdue's most hated opposing players, Alan Griffin.
True.
Stepping on
Sasha
Stefanovic, which, I mean, I probably would have done the same thing, to be honest.
I think a lot of opposing fans and opposing players probably would have.
Yes, Jalen Duren going to the Knicks at 11. He's a center out of Memphis. He's a player from New Zealand going to the Thunder. Not even going to attempt to pronounce his name.
If you can't pronounce it, I wouldn't even want to try.
I'm just going to go through and see where the Big Ten players he has taken. So he has Johnny Davis going to the Cavs at 14. He has E.J. Liddell going to the Bulls, which would be a dream scenario for the Bulls at 18. It sounds like there's going to be a decent amount of Big Ten players drafted. He has Malachi Branham going to the Wolves at 19. Any other Big Ten guys here? He has another South Bend native, Blake Wesley out of Notre Dame, who lit up Illinois earlier in the year. Going to the Grizzlies at 22. He has Bryson McGowan's out of Nebraska going 24th to the Bucks.
Potential, man. It's all potential.
It is. I mean, I didn't really see it with McGowan's other than his athleticism. That is it as far as first rounders go. I'm going to see who he has Big Ten wise getting taken in the second round. He has Caleb Houston going to the Magic at 35. He has Kofi Coburn going 36. I didn't think Kofi has a shot to get drafted, to be honest.
You could do a lot worse in second round.
You could, but that's pretty early in the second round.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised. So I wonder if he's hearing that he could get drafted. Probably would split time between G League and main roster, but unless he's gotten a lot better as far as shooting and athleticism goes. He has any other Big Ten guys here? Max Christie going to the Timberwolves at 50, which I didn't really see an NBA player in him either, but that's all potential. Ron Harper Jr. going to the Wizards at 54. And that is it as far as Big Ten players go. But this will be the J-Man's Book It prediction of the week. I think the Big Ten will have at least 5 players drafted in the first round, which will be, I don't remember last time they've had that. But I think Murray and Ivy are locks. Johnny Davis is a lock. I think EJ Liddell at this point is a lock, as well as Malachi Branham. Now, could we see a Bryce McGowan's he's on here now in the first round, but I think we could see a Caleb Houston as well getting pushed into that first round. I'm kind of surprised to not see a Diabate on this list because I thought he could be a high ceiling sort of guy.
Sorry, I was messing with my camera. Some technical difficulties there.
Right.
Did you say Travion Williams anywhere?
Travion Williams was not in there, no. Which that wouldn't be. I mean, I've seen him kind of compared to Zach Randolph, which is an interesting comparison with his ability to pass the ball for sure. But J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watchering. For life, home, auto, business, renters, workers' comp, and farm insurance, contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watchering@infb.com. Do you have Birdie Bogey for me this week?
I did. I was waiting. I've been waiting. I almost asked something stupid. I'm like, did you start with a Birdie Bogey question? I was like, how would he do that? And ask himself. So I had a few good NBA ones ready to go today, but I reverted to the NFL.
Oh.
And there's going to be no chance of it a par this week. It's either
great.
You get a birdie and take the lead, or you get a bogey and you fall behind.
I'm either getting a bogey or a bogey. That'll be fun.
What quarterback has started, so he could – okay. What quarterback all time in the NFL has started the most games as a QB versus Tom Brady and Peyton Manning?
Versus those guys.
Yes.
Oh, that's a real good question.
I'll give you a hint. He could be retired or he could be active.
One guy comes to mind. Yeah, that's a good question. Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC for fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. Get your veggies.
Did you eat a vegetable Friday when it was National Eat a Vegetable Day?
Did I eat a vegetable?
You were up in Wisconsin. Did you eat any veggies?
Did I eat? I ate a bunch of cheese because when in Rome. There were tomatoes on big old slice of pizza I had.
Nope, that doesn't count.
I can honestly say I did not have a legitimate vegetable. I'm trying to think
either.
what I ate for. Oh, you know what? I had a BLT, which has lettuce and tomato on it. So.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you did better than me. I don't think I had any. Yeah. I don't even remember what was Friday. What?
Chicken nuggets are not a vegetable.
No, I went to the Lee Bryce concert. I had a hot dog. Yeah, that doesn't count.
There might be some vegetables in there we don't know about.
And that night at Taco Bell. Oh, wait. I had lettuce on my tacos. Taco Bell.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
I'm counting it. Even though it's technically by that time it was Saturday morning, but nonetheless.
You know what? I'll give it to you.
All right. Well, while you were talking about Big Ten a little bit. Did you see the Big Ten came out with home and away schedules, opponents? That's always interesting. I mean, it's something to talk about come June every year, but really, when it comes down to it, a lot of times the Big Ten race is decided because of those factors.
Right. And I saw, so according to this Barton, I forget his name, Votic or something like that, on Twitter, he has like all these metrics and everything that ranks every team. It's almost exactly like KenPom, but it's actually been more accurate here the past few years. And of the teams he has finishing 1 and 2 this year, he has Indiana finishing 1, which sucks. And then he has Illinois finishing 2, which would be awesome for me. Illinois' schedule, especially Big Ten wise, is significantly easier. I got to go bring it up here real quick because I know the teams they play only once are like the Michigan State, Purdue.
At least we get you guys at Mackey. If we can only get you one, I'm glad we get you at Mackey.
Yeah. Let's see. I just saw it too, and I can't find it now.
I know Purdue. I know Purdue's one opponents are they don't host Northwestern, they don't host Wisconsin or Michigan. That kind of stinks. but they don't have to go to Illinois, Iowa, or Rutgers. I'm glad they don't have to go to the rack or Jersey Mike's, I guess they call them now.
Yeah, Illinois does not have to go there as well.
That's a blessing.
The teams they play only once: Michigan, Michigan State, Rutgers at home, and then Iowa, Maryland, and Purdue on the road. They get Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern, Penn State twice.
You actually play Indiana twice. Those are like you guys never play Indiana twice.
Where'd they play them last year?
At Indiana, you guys went down there and whooped them.
Yeah, and then lost.
Did you play
in the
them
Big
both?
Ten tournament.
Yeah.
Lost in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
The year before they played them twice and swept them, but yeah, it does seem like
they don't play twice.
Yeah, they only play once, which I'm glad they're playing twice. 2 chances to knock them off, but getting to play the teams that will be predicted to finish in the bottom 4 in Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern, Penn State twice. As well as Wisconsin, which again, last year at this time, we were thinking Wisconsin's going to be terrible, but then Johnny Davis had this huge breakout year and they weren't.
It's so hard
Could that happen again?
I mean, every year it is in June, but especially this year when you have the transfer portal and the grad transfers and everything. I mean, heck, Illinois, I think they're going to be good, but I don't even know who the best returning guy to wear an Illinois jersey is off the top of my head.
And that's the thing. I mean, all these metrics have them being pretty good, but who knows how they're going to play well together.
Right, the chemistry.
You're going to have a freshman starting at point guard. You're going to have 2 transfers from Big 12 schools that were really good, but again, new system, all of that. They're expecting a huge breakout from Coleman Hawkins, but what if it doesn't happen?
Is he returning then? Because I knew he was kind of like waiting to see what deal he was going to
do. He's back. Okay. They're expecting a huge breakout from RJ Melendez as well. But what if that doesn't happen? So there's so much up in the air that it's great. You know, they're projected to finish in the top 4 again in the Big Ten, but we just don't know and I think they're going to struggle in the first 2 months of the year, kind of like they did last year. Mm-hmm. And they could be a much better team towards February. But again, there's so much we don't know about a lot of these teams. Indiana has a lot of players returning. We know pretty much what to expect from them. But Purdue lost a lot. Illinois lost a lot. Ohio State lost a lot.
Michigan State lost some pieces.
Michigan State lost some guys. Michigan lost a lot. Wisconsin lost it. So it's going to be like this every year.
Rutgers lost some pieces.
Rutgers lost a ton. The thing we can kind of predict is head coaches. Which teams are probably going to be pretty good based on their head coaches. And I think Matt Painter's always going to have a good team. Tom Izzo will as well. I think Brad Underwood is starting to get that reputation that regardless of what kind of team he has, they're going to be pretty good. Chris Holtman as well. But I mean, it's so far away that it's tough to really predict. And I think I read they're going to come out with the Big Ten ACC Challenge matchups in the next week or 2.
Oh, really? That'd be a little early. It seems like that's August usually.
Yeah, I read it on Twitter somewhere.
Nice if they could do it early. I mean, spoiler alert: Indiana's going to get Carolina at home. That's a spoiler.
Well, there's rumors that Indiana's going to go to Duke.
Oh,
and that Illinois
they'd go on the road 2 years in a row.
Yeah, and that Illinois is going to get Carolina at home. That's the rumor right now. So who knows?
I bet Purdue gets like Pitt again or something. It won't be anything attractive. Which is fine.
Somebody said that the rumor is Illinois is going to get either North Carolina or Miami. That's quite the difference in talent level there, which I think Miami probably be pretty good next year. But
honestly, I do like the part of the not having a crossroads that I like is now Purdue and Notre Dame can play in the ACC Big Ten Challenge and play each other at their venues.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. When's the last time Purdue's hosted Notre Dame at Mackey?
It's not my lifetime. I think they've only done it once.
Wow.
I went up there for the NIT game up at Notre Dame in 2003, but that's the last time either of them played on each other's campus. Yeah, it's just been at Banker's Life ever since the Crossroads started. But it's always fun to talk Big Ten hoops and football whenever we can on this show because that's one of the main topics we cover.
Yeah, we love our Big Ten hoops, especially me.
We do.
But,
what do you want to talk about next?
You want to get educated here real quick? I have it up unless you want to do it. I haven't looked at it yet.
I'll take it. You got the word association segment at some point today. So
I do. Actually, the Actually, let's do word association first because
All
this
right.
is based off the NBA here.
Let's do it.
I have biggest draft busts over the past
Ooh.
however many years. Not I gave guys in the last 3 or 4 drafts the benefit of the doubt because we don't really know yet.
Right. Because I
So I
remember
started,
at one time I was going to call Dwight Howard a draft bust. And then
yeah,
he busted out and became a really good player.
Starting with Mo Bamba.
Just the song, man. The song just comes. I can't sing it. It's not appropriate to sing on TV right now, but
Yeah.
I just have the tune going in my head right now. So, yeah.
Dennis Smith.
Dennis Smith. What a common name. Dennis Smith.
Dennis Smith Jr. too.
I couldn't. Louisville? Is he a Louisville guy or no?
NC State.
I had the ACC part right. That's right. NC State. Yeah.
So Illinois beat them in the Big Ten ACC Challenge one year. John Gross was the head coach, and Gross was really good about shutting other teams' best players down. They shut Dennis Smith down. Problem was everyone else went off, and Illinois found a way to win. But then this next guy is also a guy that they found a way to shut down, but his other teammates went off, and that is Chris Dunn out of Providence.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be a good pro. I really did. Score in college. Providence, that's a team in the last decade. A lot of people, unless you're a diehard college basketball fan, you don't realize they get scores.
Yeah.
They just got a heck of a commitment yesterday from I think he's a junior in the state of Indiana, top 100 kid. So they just find ways to get scores. Ed Cooley does a good job out there, and yeah, Dunn was he could fill it up.
What's John Rothstein's phrase for Ed Cooley? I forget.
Should be like cooler than the other side of the pillow, but I don't think it's that one.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to go look that one up. But Ed Providence has been super consistent here too the past few years, getting into the tournament. Ed Cooley does a good job. Let's see here. The next one I have is Jahlil Okafor.
Yeah, Duke, just a big old bust. A lot of Ed Cooley, the American Dream.
Ed Cooley, the American Dream. I just looked it up as well.
That's crap. Dusty Rhodes is the American Dream. Anyways, Okafor, yeah, Duke. I mean, Duke, don't get me wrong, they get a lot of good pros, but they get a lot of busts too. And yeah, he what was he 3 years in the league and out?
I think he's still hanging around.
Is he still hanging around?
But he's not. He's not even starting. He's like a 10th, 11th man.
Yeah.
He was kind of the last breed of old school big guys that were drafted early.
Right.
Where he didn't shoot outside of 10 feet, none of that. And, that's not going well for him either.
Nope.
Noah Vonleh.
Talk about a guy that they just took off potential. One and done at Indiana team that didn't even make the tournament. I mean, at least Zeller's had a decent NBA career. I mean, he's hung around and he was really good in college. Noah Vonleh. I didn't think he was going to be that great of a pro, really.
No, I mean, he didn't put up huge numbers at Indiana. I think he was 12-9 or something like that a game. He's 6'10", could shoot the 3-ball a little bit, but never really gave me like he's going to be a star in the NBA.
Trace Jackson Davis. I mean, he doesn't give me that vibe.
No.
He can't shoot.
Can't shoot. Yeah.
Good college player, but
Anthony Bennett.
Oh, yeah, he's one of the biggest busts in the history of the NBA.
Yeah.
What a bad pick by the Cavaliers. I remember when they picked him, like, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, when he was drafted, it was like, what are they doing? And it turned out to be terrible. So,
yep.
Thomas Robinson,
Kansas, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he hurt Purdue in the 2012 NCAA tournament. He and the Morris twins both. I think if I got those, maybe I might have mixed. I know the Morris twins were on that team. I think Robinson was on that team too. Was he a King?
I think Thomas. Yes, he was a King. I think
my ears mixed up a little bit.
I don't know if you are.
I might.
So.
All those guys kind of blend together, but Kings. They just don't. They don't have good production from guys.
He was like 4th overall pick too, and he just didn't do a whole lot. Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd be a good pro. I mean, unbelievable to watch in college. His range was literally when he walked in the gym doors. Um, Fun player, but killing it over in China. He puts up like 80 a game, but I didn't think he'd be a great pro.
Ep292.
Defensive monster.
Yeah.
Started at Illinois, right? And ended up at Baylor, or was it vice versa?
Michigan.
Michigan.
Started at
That's
Michigan,
right.
ended up at Baylor.
I remember Purdue was recruiting him pretty hard and didn't get him. But shot blocking machine.
Hashim the Beat.
I saw him play in person. UConn against Notre Dame 1 year back. I think when UConn made the Final Four in Detroit in 2009. Yeah, that was a whiff by the Grizzlies, number 2 overall. Wow.
Yeah, they took him off of height. That was literally
pretty much. I mean,
shot blocker.
Stand at the basket.
Yeah. Joe Alexander.
Good college player, good athlete.
Great athlete, yeah.
It's kind of was too much of a blend in the NBA.
Yeah, I remember that they were calling him like the white Kobe Bryant back in the day because he's just had some hops. Joe Alexander out of West Virginia, I believe.
Yep.
Yijian Lian.
Who?
Yijian Lian.
I don't know that. No, I don't at all.
I think he was 6th overall by the Nets, and they thought he'd be the next Yao Ming, and he just wasn't.
So he's a foreign player?
Yeah, out of China.
I don't remember him at all.
2007, I think.
Oh
and
my.
yeah, they thought he was going to be the next Yao.
I'm sure he probably wasn't even good on 2K either.
No, I'm sure he was terrible.
Yao Ming was so good. People don't understand how good he was.
Yeah,
he was a legend if he could have just stayed healthy.
Adam Morrison.
Oh, one of my dad's favorite all-time college players. Was awesome at Gonzaga, taken number 3 overall by the Charlotte Bobcats, and just, I remember him or Redick, who was gonna have the better NBA career, and everybody thought Morrison. JJ had a pretty darn respectable NBA career, and Adam Morrison fizzled out so fast. But great college player to watch. That was heartbreaking when he lost to UCLA, but just never fit in the pros.
One of my least favorite humans on the planet, Sean May.
Knew that was coming right when you started that sentence. Another one the Keens drafted, and he just can't do anything. Couldn't throw his elbows around like he could in college, and like he did in the 2005 national title game.
Didn't get the whistles he got that game either.
But Bloomington's finest, Sean May, the one that got away right under from Indiana's nose. Yep. Daddy played there and didn't want to stay in town.
Last one here, Sebastian Telfair.
Oh man, was a Sports Illustrated cover was the next big thing. Really good documentary on him.
Yes, really good.
I remember him as a Blazer. I don't know if that's who drafted him, but I remember he was on the Blazers at one time.
I don't remember who drafted him.
And
was he
just didn't live up to the hype.
Who was his
Lincoln High School?
Was it cousin or brother?
Stephon Marbury, right?
Stephon Marbury,
cousin?
Yeah,
Starbury.
Was a cousin, yeah.
Yep.
So
that's a good list, man. That takes me back. It takes me back to my 2K days and my trading card days and all sorts of things. But that is the word association segment, which is brought to you by Proforma Print 2 Promo Group. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, they have over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company today by giving Barbara Van Weinsberg a call at 574-210-3815.
You want to talk some baseball here real quick?
Let me get you educated real quick.
Okay, that works.
Then we'll talk some Stanley Cup real quick, then some baseball. How about that? So and we got U.S. Open to cover too.
Right.
We got a lot to cover here in the last 20 minutes. But on this day in sports history, June 20th, let's see what we got going on here. Who won the British Open on this day in 1930?
1930, Sam Snead.
Good guess. Bobby Jones won his third Open title.
My second guess. He was my second one.
Yeah. On this day in 1936, Jesse Owens of the U.S. set a 100-meter record at 10.2 seconds. That's pretty fast.
Did he do that in front of Adolf Hitler?
It just says on this day, 1936.
Because there was one where he won a gold in front
Right,
of
in the
Adolf.
Olympics.
In the Olympics. That wasn't an Olympics one.
On this day in 1950, this guy's climbing up the Tan and J-Man show on this day list up there with Ted Williams. Joe DiMaggio got his 2000th career hit as the Yankees beat the Indians 8-2. Let's see. On this day in 1956 at Detroit's Briggs Stadium, Mickey Mantle hit 2 Billy Hoft pitches into right center field bleachers. No one else hit one there. The whole time in the stadium, he hit 2. Some of Mickey's, man, some of his stories are like things of legends.
Yeah, they said he hit like a 630-foot homer. Like, I don't know.
On this day in 1966, who won the U.S. Open?
1966, I'm going to go with old Jack Nicklaus.
Billy Casper erased a 7-stroke deficit on the final 9 holes to tie Arnold Palmer, then won the Monday 18-hole playoff by 4 strokes. Whew. On this day, 1970, Orioles' Brooks Robinson got his 2000th career hit, a 3-run home run.
The greatest third baseman ever.
On this day, 1973, San Francisco Giants' Bobby Bonds set an NL record with 22 leadoff home runs.
His son was pretty good.
Not too bad. Let's see here. Who won the U.S. Open on this day, 1982?
I'm going to go with Jack Nicklaus.
Jack Nicklaus was runner-up as Tom Watson beat him by 2 strokes to win his only U.S. Open title. On this day, 1982, Pete Rose became the 5th player to ever appear in 3,000 games. He joined Ty Cobb, Stan Musial, Hank Aaron, and Yaz. On this day in 1986, Jim Fregosi, I believe is how you pronounce his name, replaced Tony La Russa as White Sox manager. Somebody needs to replace him today.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of U.S. Open stuff. On this day in 1993, the NBA Finals, Chicago Bulls become the first team since the legendary Boston Celtics of the 1960s to win 3 consecutive titles with a 99-98 victory in Game 6 over the Phoenix Suns. Michael Jordan was named Finals MVP for the 3rd straight year.
Jordan was pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah. Not too shabby.
On this day in 1994, who won the U.S. Open?
94. I am going to go with, I don't even know who was golfing back then. Gary Player. I don't know. He's probably too old.
Yes. How about a young Ernie Els? Won on the second sudden death hole to defeat Lauren Roberts after Colin Montgomery was eliminated in an 18-hole playoff. So those guys went 18 holes. 2 of them were still tied. Had to go to sudden death. And then Ernie won on the second one. On this day, 1999, who won the U.S. Open?
And Tiger Woods.
Good guess. Payne Stewart won his second Open title by a stroke over Phil Mickelson. That was one of the first golf tournaments I ever remember watching the ending of. On this day, 2006, who won the NBA Finals?
2006. San Antonio Spurs.
Miami Heat over the Dallas Mavericks, 95-92 in Game 6 for its first title in franchise history. MVP was Dwayne Wade. Who won the NBA Finals on this day in 2013?
13's got to be Miami, right?
Miami Heat beat the San Antonio Spurs 95-88 in Game 7 for back-to-back titles. LeBron was the MVP for a 2nd straight year. 2017, on this day, Tiger Woods checked into a clinic to manage his pain medication and sleep disorder following his arrest for driving under the influence. I remember one of the it was probably episode, 40 or 50 something of the Tan and J-Man show. We were talking about that on one of our episodes and how we thought Tiger was done, finished, career over. I remember our cover photo was his mugshot, and it was not a good-looking mugshot.
Yeah, I remember that.
On this day in 2019, who became the number 1 pick in the NBA draft?
19?
Yes.
2019. I have no idea.
Zion Williamson.
Oh, he barely played since.
Yeah. And on this day last year, who won the U.S. Open last year?
I couldn't tell you.
John Rahm beat Louis Oosthuizen by 1 stroke, become the first Spaniard to win the event.
John Rahm.
And he was in it until yesterday, and he kind of fell apart. So, But that will do it for the On This Day segment, which is brought to you by Mooney Woodcrafts. Mooney Woodcrafts is a veteran-owned and operated custom woodcraft shop based out of North Carolina with Indiana grassroots. They provide 100% hand-cut custom designs that fit your needs. From signs to growth charts, their custom pieces make a great addition to any home, office, or man cave. To see some of their recently completed projects, visit at Mooney Woodcrafts on Instagram and Facebook. And for orders, contact them directly at mooneywoodcrafts@gmail.com. All right, let's talk U.S. Open real quick. I'm guessing you didn't watch much of any at all.
I didn't watch any of them, no.
I didn't even watch a ton this weekend here and there, but I did catch the, very ending yesterday. When I got to Fort Wayne, I saw Matt Fitzpatrick, he goes by now, get a heck of a bunker, hit a heck of a fairway bunker shot on the 18th hole, ended up 2-putting to get a heck of a par. Left Will Zalatoris with about a 12 to 15 footer, I would say, for birdie. If Will made it, it was going into an 18-hole playoff today. Will missed it by about an inch.
Yeah,
it was looking good, turn left. So Matt Fitzpatrick wins his first major of his career, first win over in the U.S. Zalatoris, runner-up yet again. That's now 3 runner-ups he has in the majors. He's got to get one. He's knocking on that door. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets the Open next month.
I never even really heard of him, and then he's been finishing top 5 here in the majors the past however many.
He was a rookie last year and got tied for second, right? A solo second at Augusta. And then, he was right there, lost in the 3-hole playoff to Justin Thomas for the PGA, and then right there again in the U.S. Open. He was there. Scotty Scheffler finished 500, just a stroke back, or 2 strokes back. It looked like he was maybe going to win it. He would have won a Masters in the U.S. Open the same year. That doesn't happen very often. With that win, he would have won more prize money in a single season than anybody in PGA Tour history.
Wow.
Rory, up and down week for him. He was right there. Couldn't get it going.
He had a bad Saturday, didn't he?
Bad Saturday, yeah. Couldn't get it going yesterday. Colin Morikawa had a really bad Saturday. Hideki Matsuyama, great Sunday, finished 3 under. I thought he might win it. He won last year's Masters. Sometimes it's good to get done, put in a good number in the clubhouse, and just sit and watch the carnage.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he was hoping for. But heck of a final 4 to 5 hole finish for the U.S. Open. Pretty darn good. The country club was a cool venue. Matt Fitzpatrick won the U.S. Amateur back there, 9, 10, 11 years ago. So pretty fitting for him to win that and then win the U.S. Open at the same course. Yeah. But, golf's in a good spot as far as tons of good players, but they still just don't have that superstar without Tiger out there. Phil missing a cut. Phil played terrible. But the PGA Tour didn't get their nightmare scenario. None of the live golf guys were in contention come Sunday. That was their nightmare. If it would have been Phil, Dustin, Patrick, Bryson, but there's rumors that more names are coming, so we're going to have to see in the next few weeks who might be joining that tour.
Who did I see? Adam Answer, is that his name?
Abraham Answer.
Abraham
and then
Answer.
Joaquin Neiman and Patrick Cantlay are 2 rumored ones, which if Cantlay goes, that's another hit against the U.S. President and Ryder Cup teams.
Yeah.
One thing to Live Golf's got to figure out, and they're trying to apply for it, is the official World Golf World Rankings. Because without getting points for those, the guys that play on the Live Golf, they can still play in the majors, but they're not going to qualify for them because a lot of them take you based on, unless you're a past champion, they take you based on your world ranking.
Wow.
And so if they can't get a world ranking, then that kind of takes them out of those. So it'll be interesting to see how this all unfolds. But another good major, 3 of them down, 1 to go next month. The Open over at St. Andrews, one of the most legendary courses in the world. And Tiger said he's going to give it a go.
We'll see how that goes.
He did in this week. And did you see that photo of him that went viral on Instagram and Twitter?
I don't think I did.
He's standing next to somebody, I don't know who, with shorts on, and this is the first time you can see the scarring and the damage on his right leg, and it's like no wonder why that guy limps his way around a golf course.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He's very lucky he didn't lose it.
He's very lucky. Yeah. Very lucky. Other big sporting event going on, Stanley Cup Finals. My Colorado Avalanche are up 2-0. Game 3 starts here in 40 minutes. The series goes back to Tampa. The Avalanche just smoked them Saturday night, 7-0. It was just a whooping. They escaped game one with a 4-3 win in overtime. They were up 3-1 after the first, but Tampa Bay tied it 3-all after the second intermission. Got through the third period, still threes, and got into overtime, and the Avs got it done. But it was a bloodbath on Saturday night, and hopefully they can I don't think they'll sweep them, so I think Tampa gets at least one here of the 2 games in Tampa. If the Avalanche can get one of 2, that'd be huge.
Yeah, they haven't won since when? 01?
01. They're 2 for 2 in their history. They swept the Panthers in 96, then beat the Devils, I believe, in 6 games in 01. So, yeah, and the Lightning are back-to-back Stanley Cup champs. So,
yeah, that's right.
And you know, the Avalanche started tradition back in 2019. Their fans sing All the Small Things by Blink-182. It's really become a hit this year in the playoffs, and I think we need more fans singing in unison in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Those are pretty cool moments.
Yeah, I mean, you have Sweet Caroline in Boston. You have seventh inning Strats in Chicago, and even Go Cubs Go at the Cubs. Who else? What other Bear Down, Chicago Bears,
Fly Eagles Fly.
Yeah, Fly Eagles Fly. Miami Dolphins.
That's a bad one.
Yeah, it's a terrible one.
Yeah, but it's just cool, especially when the action's going on and they're still singing. That is cool. That's pretty cool to watch and hear. So go Avs, go get game 3 tonight. Maybe by this time next week, maybe I'll talk about the Avs hoisting the cup.
Yeah. Switching to a much worse team here. The Chicago Cubs are 59-103 over their last 162 games.
It's not very good, J-Man.
They were 61-101 in that terrible 2012 season, so this has been worse. First baseman Frank Schwindel pitched more last week than the Cubs closer did. Twice. Cubs were outscored 90-30 over their 10-game losing streak. They are the first team to allow 18 runs in 3 games or more in a season since the 08 Rangers. It is only June 20th, and they've already done that. Cubs had a run differential of -26 in their 4-game series against the San Diego Padres, where they were swept. They had a run differential of -23 against the New York Yankees over the weekend. It is the first time the Cubs have had at least a -20 run differential in back-to-back series since 1879. It is a franchise record, -49 run differential across back-to-back series. Pitching's terrible. Offense is terrible. But you know what? The one thing you can predict about baseball is that it's going to be unpredictable. And so that brings me to this. Cubs coming in on a 10-game losing streak. The Braves coming in on a 14-game win streak. It's the first time 2 teams have played where one was on a double-digit losing streak and the other on a double-digit winning streak since 1998. And the Cubs found a way to beat the Braves 2 games out of 3, which was a bigger shock than I think anything that's ever happened in my lifetime. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, Cubs actually played well over the weekend, but they were just shellacked by the San Diego Padres. It was the most embarrassing thing. It used to be kind of funny to watch a position player pitch and blowouts. Now it's just embarrassing. Yeah. The Cubs are doing it at least once a week at this point. This is a trash roster. They call up one of their top outfield prospects today, Nelson Velasquez. Not even starting. Jason Hayward starting over him. And they said that Nelson Velasquez, I had no idea. I
mean, it's just stupid.
It makes zero sense. Jed Hoyer doesn't have a plan. He needs to release Jason Hayward for 1, or fire David Ross so we can't play him anymore for 2. And Ross said Nelson Velasquez will play against left-handed hitters and he'll pinch hit. Won't even play against right-handed pitchers.
So, I know we've talked about this before, but do you think maybe not this year, but do you think Ross is going to be in trouble soon?
I mean, he was dealt a pretty terrible pretty terrible hand. But the fact that he continues to play Jason Hayward in right field, where he has been literally the worst hitter in baseball over the past 2 seasons, doesn't play good defense anymore. He's a sunk cost, and for whatever reason, they just keep holding on to him. I don't understand it. There's no rhyme or reason for it. They let Clint Frazier go, although he did accept a minor league assignment in Iowa. So he's sticking around at the very least. He's 33 years old. He'll be 33 in August, Hayward will. And you're going to let him take at bats over some of these young guys you could really learn a lot about. Hayward's not going to be there. I'm getting pissed off talking about it if you can't tell.
No, not at all.
It's maddening. There is zero rhyme or reason why Jason Hayward's on the roster, for one, and two, why he's even playing. I don't know if Ross just feels like he can't bench him because they were teammates. I know Hayward's a fantastic locker room guy, just good guy overall. But he is an absolute detriment to this roster. You're not learning anything from him. He's not going to be on the roster when they're good again. If they're ever good again. I said this.
That's 2 weeks in a row you said that.
I know. And then you look at a guy like Chris Morrell, who has a 1.1 wins above replacement so far this year. Frank Schwindel, Alfonso Rivas, Nick Madrigal, Jason Hayward, Anderson Simmons, and Jonathan Villar combined for a -2 WAR. They have been 2 wins below replacement level players this year. And these guys are playing over a Nelson Velasquez. I'm glad Morrell's still hanging around. A few other things of note. Ian Happ has been fantastic this month. He's hitting over 380 in 18 games. Wilson Contreras continues to be fantastic. He'll only be there another month or so. Inexplicably, he's just one of 6 players with an on-base percentage over 400 this year in baseball. He's been literally one of the best hitters in baseball, and they're going to trade him for pennies on the dollar. Let's see what else we got here. I can't say anything more about Hayward or I'm going to cuss on live TV, so I better not do that.
Don't break our streak, please.
Elsewhere around baseball, Mike Trout, pretty good player there, of the Angels, is the first player in MLB history to hit 4 game-winning homers in a single season. Homer that puts his team ahead and they stay ahead. First player ever. So he's pretty good.
I see he's now hit the second most home runs all time against the Mariners. Can you name me who's number 1?
All time against. Trying to think who's been in the AL West for a long time. Who is in the AL West? Angels, A's, Mariners, Astros are now, but they weren't. Rangers. All time. I'm gonna go like Tim Salmon or something.
Good guess. This guy did not do steroids, period. Rafael Palmeiro.
Oh, Palmeiro. Oh, yeah, he was a Ranger forever.
For a while.
Stupid.
Him and Juan Gahn and Pudge.
Yeah, I almost said Juan Gonzalez for that guess. But,
Tim Salmon, good pull there.
Yeah, but elsewhere around baseball, we got only a minute left here. So Yankees are still tearing up 11 games up.
They're
11 games up on the Blue Jays.
They're hitting the ball so well right now.
White Sox are still struggling. Dodgers and Padres and Giants are right there. Brewers, Cardinals are tied. Mets are still playing well. Braves are still hanging around. But, we got a lot more trade deadline talk here over the next couple weeks.
Yep, it's coming.
So,
Birdie Bogey, what quarterback has the most games played against Tom Brady and Peyton Manning?
Oh, somebody who's been around a while. I assume AFC. It could be. Yeah, I assume it'd be AFC. Ben Roethlisberger.
Great guess. No.
Is it Phillip Rivers?
Another great guess. No. My dad gave this to Sean Shriver and I. Sean guessed Ben. I guessed Phillip. We were both wrong.
Oh, I have no idea.
Then I guessed Joe Flacco. That was wrong.
Yeah, I was
Ryan
thinking Flacco.
Fitzpatrick with 15.
Fitzmagic. That makes sense. I wouldn't even thought about him, but I mean, he was around forever, a bunch of different teams.
Just retired.
Man.
Yep.
Ryan Fitzmagic. Well, once again,
you're up to 6 over par now, J-Man.
Picking up a bogey here. Terrible.
Well, wrap us up for episode 292.
Thanks for watching the Tan and J-Man Show live on the ISC Sports Channel. We will be back at it next Monday with another episode. Stay cool out there, everybody. Have a fantastic